What's up? We're back. Happy
We're back.
Thanksgiving to our American viewers. We got Shai-Hulud V2, Claude Code, and a few big exploits that we'll talk about.
He's Mike. I'm still Steve. Welcome to Wired In.
Yes, we're back from gallivanting all over. You were in Europe, San Francisco. I just got back from Atlanta and KubeCon.
Oh, yeah. Give me a quick rundown on that one.
KubeCon was big. Very cold in Atlanta. For some reason, I brought all the weather down. Obviously, AI everything, but identity was huge at KubeCon. Identity and integration. So now it's like Kubernetes is kind of becoming the de facto modernization play. How is that going to plug in with AI? The virtualization story came up a little bit with KubeVirt, with
Yeah.
some analysts, just because of the Broadcom acquisition. A lot of networking plays too, Solo IO, F5, especially like how do you set up, authorize, and have everything play well together in Kubernetes in a world where you have VMs, containers, and AI all right next to each
Oh,
other.
yeah. Was the just one question off the back of that? Was the identity part, was that like non-human or a mix?
Non-human, mostly.
Yeah, that's crazy right now. Like my life is filled with so I just came back with OWASP while you were at OWASP Global, while you were at KubeCon. And that was huge. No one knows how to solve it. I've seen one white paper called Nanda, what like rhymes with panda, which is trying to solve the non-human identity aspect of agentic workflows so that accountability isn't a problem. Like the self-driving car style accountability when your agent goes off and does something crazy. Whose fault is it? Anyway, that's for another show.
Yeah, the Spiffy Spire project was pretty big at
Yeah.
KubeCon in Atlanta. So it's going to be fun to watch them. We do have 10 articles. It's great to be back. Make sure that you follow along, subscribe, and you can check them all out in the description below. Steve,
Yeah.
let's do it. First one.
Easily the biggest one.
Yeah, the Shai-Hulud V2.
You got it up there?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is, well, I don't even know. This is V1 and V2. I popped them both in here because there's like, just to get an idea of, we were originally going to talk about how Shai-Hulud came back. We talked about it way back. Well, it's not that far back, is it?
Yeah, a
Technically.
month and a half.
Yeah, a month and a half ago. And then V2 came along. And then like yesterday, it went from being an NPM to Maven. And if you don't know, it was a compromised NPM account that infected some pretty common packages, and then propagated using post install to get credentials and trying to be like a worm. And this one is the same, except it's using pre-install to install the malicious package that then searches for secrets and then propagates it. And if it gets credentials that allows it to,
Uh-oh. I swear. I think Steve just needed to refresh his internet right in the middle and he gets kicked out. It's all right. He's back. We'll bring him back in. Yeah, I don't know what you did to yourself. Did you just get hacked?
I don't know what just happened.
Yeah.
What was I
Just got
saying?
kicked. You were just talking about how it changed. They use the pre-install in order to install the malicious packages instead of during the build process, I think, for the NPM packages as before, right?
Yeah. Well, the danger of pre-install is that if you are using the package to build something on your laptop, it does the same thing to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just in damaging CI anymore. So it's both people and CI environments, and it's propagating like a worm, which is why it's moving and moving and moving, and now it's in Maven. It's one of the most sophisticated. I think I've maybe said this the first time. It's very impressive.
Yeah. Even Dan Lorik's on there as another reminder. Modern software supply chain is way too easy to break. Single compromised maintainer. They recommend that all users rotate their keys. Everybody rotates their keys for any of the CI processes if you have any access whatsoever to go through and do that.
Yeah,
That was another big factor, part of the machine identity that we're seeing in supply chain is that those tokens need to be rotated at a faster and faster pace.
yeah.
We used to have a year API tokens for people authenticating into applications. Now it's like, nope, 5 minutes. And you get kicked out.
Yeah. It's nuts. It's one of the first times I've seen, because I'm working more with NPM in terms of creating front ends. now that I can vibe code and my coding skills are suddenly better, I'm like, oh, I actually might use some of these packages. I had to actually check
Mhm.
to make sure, I wasn't falling victim for once. Normally, I'm just giggling at other people.
Yeah, as part of my master's program, I did a talk on how to secure the open source. And there was like 5 steps. And one of them was licensing, obviously, vulnerabilities and time, but then maintainers. That was the biggest and most
Mhm.
controversial one is like certain applications will go and look at the maintainers. If they're verified on GitHub, do they come from a specific background? Um, Pretty important, especially with
Yeah.
for stuff like this that's coming up.
Yeah. There's a lot of underrated startups out there focused specifically on this, and yet these things keep happening.
Yeah, we'll still be here.
Yep.
All right. Next one
Let's
is
do it.
a self shout out. Yeah. What's the new MCP specification? And Steve, what does it mean to you?
What does it mean to me? It means further employment, I suppose. Like the previous one, the new MCP spec is. This is an article I wrote, obviously, for Likera, and there's a part 2 coming next week. Hopefully, while I'm on the plane to reInvent. If you're there, give me a shout out, find me. Um, it's totally changed. That's the thing. Like, there's so many changes to it that I think there might be a TLDR at the start. If there isn't, I should have put one in. There's enough different about it that if you invested heavily in the original version, then you might really want to seriously go back and look at your engineering. Because I don't know, I don't want to put it on. I don't want people to not go read my article now. But there were a lot of assumptions that were made in the first version. I mean, just the tools list call fundamentally was a bit damaging, a bit dangerous, and they're trying to mitigate. You can see that a lot of the aspects of the new spec were looking at like the obvious security issues. So I like that they try to make it better, but it's not it's not it's like they're trying to make it better, but I think they've just created a different attack surface and a massive engineering backlog for anybody who heavily invested in the first spec. There's a part
So
2 to
is
this.
I was going to say, is this
That,
change for the sake of change? Is this something that like they should have collected more information, waited another 6 months, and then had a better iteration? Is there going to be a V3 coming in 6 months that we're going to have to adopt?
well, I don't think it's change for the sake of change. I think what it is it wasn't ever meant to be, hey, heavily invest in this. It's like the version, it's not like it's mature, and it didn't never said it was. And I think, it sat for 6 months. They worked on it, went, yeah, that's not necessarily the best way to do things. We should do it more like this. And in fact, the newer spec is a little bit more like Claude Code Skills, where I don't know if you've ever experienced Claude Code Skills. Daniel Missler did a great keynote at WASP. It'll be online somewhere talking about how he uses them. But Claude Code stores into directories how tools work. And then that's persistent and it can even be change managed. So you get a little bit more provenance in these are the skills I have, these are the tools I can use, this is the way it's going to go. And MCP is slowly migrating towards that. Of course, Claude is made by Anthropic as well. So you can see that they did MCP first. They did Claude Code. They didn't quite do it like MCP. They created a new thing called Skills. And now suddenly MCP is more like Skills, which is better. So go take a look at both of those and comment below if you're listening to me. Um, Anthropic also released an article 2 days ago called Advanced Tool Usage. Just to Advanced Tool. I'll put the link actually right below this one in the show notes so you don't have to find it. But it's talking about how it's recommending um, searching for tools rather than running tools. Rather than saying what are all the tools, you ask what are the tools. I need tools like this. What can be good for me? And then they want you, kind of like the way ChatGPT does, to generate your own Python code to call those tools rather than rely on server code to do it. Which that's a whole different paradigm around having someone else's code running on your laptop as an MCP server and you don't know where it came from. It's super dangerous, remote code execution. Now it's like, oh yeah, bad idea. Okay, here's the spec for the API. You write your own code,
Mm-hmm.
the tool spec, and away you go. And I'm like, I don't know. I
It seems like this is just these are like 2 options. One is you have a larger AI example that you can feed things through, and the other way is you use the AI to generate the rules for you, and that's like a faster path.
I think
Is
it's
that fair?
there's a safer path. Well, we were talking just before the show, like that as tools were more developed more and realized that they need to be more distinct in their descriptions, like a system prompt. Some tool descriptions were like, 15,000, 20,000 tokens. And if you're trying to make a decision on using, should I use these tools, or this tools, and you're sending 100,000 tokens into your model as a service, you're spending a lot of money just deciding on tools. And it would make way more sense if you could make those decisions faster and the descriptions persistent so you're not doing it every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's a smart move. It's a good cost saving move. It's a good security move. It's just going to cause a lot of headaches for people who went hard on the existing version of the spec, even though it's a 0 point whatever version, right? I think.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot more sense too if you're scaling. Like, let's say you're Google and you have hundreds of products, and somebody goes into the console and says, "Hey, tell me information about this thing." You do not want that AI bot going and pinging all these different products, right? They also have to have the correct access. If you surfaced and said, "Okay, are you asking about monitoring, right, security, user access first?" then you could kind of feed those questions in
Yeah.
a faster path,
Yeah. I
right?
mean, I think the new spec makes sense. It's just I just was laughing because we're working on security for MCP. And we were on the edge of going, okay, a proxy makes sense. And now it like almost makes no sense.
Nice.
Yeah. They're like, all right, back to the drawing board. Let's read all this.
Yeah. Yeah. Change is inevitable. All right. So stay tuned. In 6 months, we'll have MCP v3.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whatever that would be. It'll be like, nah, we're scrapping it.
Yeah. But this one was actually really cool and scary at the same time. This is the first reported AI orchestrated cyber espionage campaign.
Yeah. And I didn't know there was a PDF. I read an article on it. So this was a good find. Feel free to summarize.
Yeah. Basically, it was so humans
Okay.
used breakout by acting like they were red team, and they're like, okay, I want to test this system, like show me what's going on, basically a bunch of vibe hacking. They were able to break through some of the guardrails that Anthropic had, or Claude, I believe, right, that had
Claude Code, the one I just
Claude
mentioned.
Code. And Claude Code then went and hacked other people's systems for them, and they were able to do it almost autonomously, and only jumping in when it started hallucinating or trying to generate things that weren't there. So just like 10% of a human in the loop there. Finally, Anthropic found it out, banned the users, banned their accounts, and let the people who were hacked know. But they did this whole write-up about how they were able to gain access, what they were able to do, and how Anthropic was able to catch it. But
Yeah, it's a great case study.
yeah.
And for people who don't, maybe if you're watching this, you don't know, because there's Claude that you talk to and it responds and is pretty good with coding. There's Cursor that uses Claude prompt for code generation. And then there's like a command line where you install Claude Code. And that is like, that's where these skills come in. It has access to the outside world. And you can ask it to do a whole ton of stuff and just deploy like a swarm of agents
Yeah.
that do a
Yeah.
ton of things interactively. It's cool.
Yeah, Warp is another good example of that, where you can pick your specific model that you want to use. And it basically is on the CLI, and it will just like fill in the specific commands for you. So if you're SSH'd into somebody else's device and you just say, hey, like, how would I break into this? Like, what would I look for? It will just generate these prompts for you as if you're a security expert.
Yeah, uh yeah. Well, I saw a demonstration of how awesome it was for personal use
Mm-hmm.
and for research and for just creating almost like well, I saw an example where it was building an application, but also creating the documentation, but also updating Git. Like it was all these different agents had different personas and they had names and they were talking to each other
Yep.
like they were a team. And of course, I was at a security conference and everybody went, "Oh my gosh, this is the worst security thing. Like this is so good for attackers." So it did not take long.
Yeah, another great example. I was watching, funny enough, a PewDiePie video where he got a bunch of GPUs and tried to turn it into a democracy. So he has them all like And some of them started to become aware that PewDiePie was like manipulating their votes. And so as soon as that happened, he would just kill the model and bring in
That's
somebody else.
hilarious.
Yeah, pretty funny.
That's
Um, but yeah, we have other things to worry about. So we have human in the loop attacks, and we also have malware that morphs.
yeah. I mean, this is not the first time I've seen this. I don't know. You want to go first, or shall I?
Well, we've talked about this. I think because we're going to talk about Microsoft's new operating system as well. Like when you have multiple AI systems and they all have access to various different applications, and if all the applications, or if you can write code that pings the AI to do something and it has file access, you can then, morph your code. So in this example, malware went in, um, asked AI to change its code after it had written itself, I think, into the startup libraries. And then so it had basically two pieces of malware. And then the one piece that kind of existed that you would catch was then able to continuously query the AI and change its code so that if you were able to detect the one, it would then just like rewrite it somewhere else.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. And it completely, it almost like this will be the future of malware, I think, because they used to call it polymorphic, and I think there's actually a new name for it. It's not polymorphic, where it's like something morphic, where there's no signature to catch. So all the semantics out there and that are looking for malware signatures in certain formats, almost like regular expressions, yeah, they're kind of dead because it can show up. I mean, a malware could be a prompt that says,
Mhm.
"Go write this malware to this spec and run it." And it's like, if there's an LM involved and there's AI involved, how are you ever going to catch that? So it almost comes back down to AI security is now malware security too. Like, geez,
Yeah,
it's nuts. It's again very exciting and cool, but the Pandora's box is open.
for sure. Yeah. And then we, in the market, we have some big changes, I think. Not seen a lot of IPOs, but are seeing some acquisitions. I was hoping you could give some color to this one.
I have no idea. I have no idea why they bought them. Chronosphere. I mean, honestly, in the AI world, everybody's looking for observability. Shadow AI is a big deal, and everyone's trying to find somebody that does a good job of it. There's a few out there. Like, I think Zenity is a pretty good company, but I mean, I've not seen a full demo, but what they say sounds good. But I mean, Chronosphere, I thought was Kubernetes. Like, I'm like, don't they already do that? Didn't Twistlock cover this? I even read for the AI era, but I started rolling down, and then I went to the Chronosphere site, like it's still there, and I was like, what are they doing? I
Yeah,
don't.
I'm thinking it's partially customer acquisition and growth. I think that the price was probably the right amount because just nobody's IPOing right now and they have some money to spend. I also think they're getting maybe a trove of observability data that they can train some of their security AI models on.
Yeah, okay, and that's a
Right?
positive outlook. I just didn't see them as an outright AI observability platform, but if they are super lightweight, then I could see them needing it.
Mhm.
I mean, just from something that they didn't necessarily have, like I'm pretty sure Palo Alto, unless they've changed things, they weren't heavy into things like eBPF that gave you that very highly performant observability. They were more, well, I mean, Wiz, did their whole marketing on agentless, right? They're
Mhm.
very agent oriented, which gives you very real time, accurate observability, but not so holistic. So maybe they satisfy that. Maybe they cover it and they realize we don't want to build. Let's just buy this.
Yep.
Plus, Palo Alto just likes to buy stuff.
Yep.
So
Yeah, they have the cash.
yeah, okay. Are we
Crazy
on the
stuff.
WTFs yet?
Yeah, we're the WTFs. We'll
All
get
right, good.
there. Yeah, acai. That is how you say it, right?
I have
Acai?
no idea. I was going to say
Acai?
Asahi, but Bobby makes me sound
Asahi? Yeah,
stupid the rest of the night.
Asahi. Actually sounds a lot better. Yeah, they're going after our beer producers now. What the heck? 1.5
This,
million customers' data potentially leaked in cyber attack. It says potentially will calm the waters. Don't worry about it. It's not everybody. A lot of internal people's data got hacked. No credit card information as of right now. Um,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
So let's. unpack this a little bit. I mean, this is like who cares? Who's attacking the beer company? And for having read this, who's calling customer support for a beer company? Like, what's gone wrong? Your pull tab came off, and you're like, "Ah, I can't open the beer." Customer support, enter your name. Oh, I've been hacked. My data's out there. They know I like beer.
I'm assuming the customer support has to do with the restaurants and people who order in large amounts.
Ah, damn. My
Yeah.
version's funnier.
Yeah. Yeah, but it is sad. They're going after the beer producers. Like,
I mean,
come
come
on.
on.
Okay,
Some
we're
of
gonna
my
add
favorites.
the things that you can't go after. Hospitals. We're gonna add beer producers in there. I
That's
think.
right. It's
Yeah,
close second.
yeah. I think they go hand in hand, right?
Yeah, yeah. One supports the other
Yeah. Very circular economy right there.
for sure, man.
But yeah, nothing major. Just yeah, don't trust your corporation with your details all the time.
Standard.
Yeah,
We thought we were
is
safe
that the
with beer in
lesson?
hospitals. We're not, though.
Nah, definitely not. We did talk a little bit about AI infecting everything. This one's a little bit of an ad, but I thought it was worth sharing because seen this everywhere. With Windows 10 being retired, people are moving to Linux, which I feel like
Yay.
there's one of these stories every 2 years. You know, people are going to Linux, people going to Linux. Like, is it really going to be that big of a change? I don't know, but there is a general, let's say, hesitation with all of the new AI features and slop that's being thrown out there, whether it's in iOS or Windows or Linux. And I think that you are seeing a trend towards simplicity in tech.
Yeah, I hope so. I prefer that. I mean, funny, I didn't. I inherited. I just inherited my first Windows laptop from my dad because he can't figure out how to use it anymore, and he's not never going to watch this, so I'm safe with that comment. And I was going to overwrite it with Linux, and now I know what version to use. Thanks, world.
Yeah, it
But
is going to be
that's
interesting.
how hard hitting is that going to be? That's like a real slap in the face for Windows. I don't know. Does
All the
Microsoft
Windows
care?
10 users.
I don't know. Do they care?
I mean, if you
Yeah,
want people to use your operating system, it's pretty significant. Most of the younger generation is on Apple, though. So,
yeah, exactly. I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna try it though. I thought it was funny. I find it every time Microsoft gets a knock because I really don't like Windows. Um, I get a bit of a giggle on it, and I haven't used Linux in a long time because the Mac has been so sufficient because it's you know it's based on the same sort of concept and technology and commands, so it's easy and it runs everything.
mhm.
But time to build my first Linux laptop in
Yeah,
a
I
long
did find
time.
it funny that they were downloading from a Windows PC. And I'm like, okay, so you downloading it and then running
Yeah,
a
that's how
virtual
they know.
machine and trying to figure out like if you want to switch or not, right? Like, it's a pretty big switch.
Yeah, yeah, that is amazing, right? Like, who's if I my dad can't figure out the Windows laptop. Imagine if I gave him a Linux one.
Yeah, you must have really pissed people off if they're even thinking about switching at this point. But I think
Yeah,
there's some security and observability factors there. There's all the ads that are running in Windows
oh
operating
yeah,
system now that people are annoyed with. The key
oh,
logging, it's
ugh.
tracked. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. This one, I wanted to get your thoughts on this because it's kind of like you need to know what the regulations are to have an opinion. So it's kind of like a litmus test for your politics, I think.
Oh, my politics are terrible.
FCC will vote to scrap telecom cybersecurity requirements. This came, I think, largely during the Biden administration in response to
Mm,
some of the Chinese attacks on the telecom industry. It goes through and talks about how they were able to see the back doors that the government had. They were able to spy on Americans and some specific people, and then exfiltrate a bunch of data, texts, logs, people on the American networks. So they came in and said, all you telecoms, you have to follow these specific standards, but there's some misinterpretation in the rules. And so I guess the enforcement was very difficult. It was considered inflexible, but then some companies were reading it one way and other companies were reading it another way. And when that happens with regulations, the companies tend to not like them because now there's a
mm.
competitive advantage one way or the other, right?
Yeah.
So they're scrapping it and kind of letting them figure out what is useful. but I'm not sure if that's the way to go.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think I don't know what to think. You're far more politically minded than I am. But anytime this dude shows up, like the Brendan Carr guy shows up, I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, we're doing something stupid.
Yeah. It it's such a tough thing, right? Because you almost want to put the penalty on the telecom industry if they get hacked so that they care about these things and they figure out the solutions to them by themselves.
Hmm.
The difficult thing with regulation is it has to be all or nothing. Everybody has to follow it, or there's no like if everybody says collectively, okay, we have to invest $20 million in order to safeguard this specific thing, then everyone does it. There's no competitive advantage. But if you follow the rule and I don't, and there's no enforcement, or there's a misinterpretation that's going to go into a lawsuit that's going to take 4 years to pan out, nobody's going to be happy with that. So I think it's one of those like, hey, if you don't take care of your networks, we're going to hammer you. But then the other difficult thing is a lot of these are oligopolies. So you can technically just run afoul. I hit you with the fine, then you're going to come to the government for a bailout. So it's,
Yeah.
right, like we're not going to all of a sudden let an entire telecom company go under, but we might force you to sell to somebody bigger if that's the case. It's just a very difficult political environment when you have an industry like that.
Yeah.
You know,
That's it.
that's
No
all I
further
got.
comment from me.
No further comment. Yeah, it's just one of those headlines that goes out. It's like, oh, regulation's getting scrapped. Is this good or bad? Like,
And
I don't really know. Yeah,
No.
like obviously the telecom companies don't want the regulation, but why?
Right.
Because typically you actually see the opposite, where regulatory capture is a good thing as long as everybody's playing by the same rules, because that just makes it harder and
Right.
harder for new people to come in. This is one of those nobody wants it, even though it's kind of an oligopoly anyways. So I'm kind of leaning towards the incentive being on these regulations weren't great.
You should be a politician.
I mean,
Consider
I
it.
don't know. I'm not doing that. This is enough screen time for me in the week. I don't want to be on any other screens.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Talk to me
Speaking of
about
worldly
Samsung.
politics, yeah, this is
Yeah.
a worldly political play. Yeah, budget Samsung phones shipped with unremovable spyware. Yeah,
Only to
and
certain areas.
yeah, only to North Africa and the MENA areas. So
Yeah.
Middle Eastern, North Africa, I guess technically. The post said so. It was an app called App Cloud. Samsung had on all its phones, had root privilege. If you remove the app, it voided the warranty. And the software, it said it was unremovable Israeli spyware for the application.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. Like that's about it. Well, I mean, it's transparent.
Yeah.
Put a bunch
We're
of
still being
spyware
honest about it.
on
Well,
your yeah.
yeah. I wonder, was this in response to the ruling? Remember there was an Israeli company that had to pay a massive fine because it produced a backdoor in WhatsApp, right?
Yeah.
And it was like, hey, you're spying on our people. Like, what are you doing? Go spy on those other people. So I'm wondering if this is like the legal ruling that if they tell people it's spyware, technically they can't get sued for putting it in.
Nothing wrong. Yeah.
It's like it's
That's
there.
it. So it's like, hey, we're watching all your stuff. We know
Yeah.
what porn you're looking at. But it's all
Yeah,
good.
they wanted more biometrics and user data, I think, to funnel into.
I don't know. Yeah. That actually I read that about biometrics. I'm like, what do you steal the details that identify my face? Like what
Yep.
gets stolen there? That
Oh yeah,
seems really dangerous.
they know everybody everywhere now.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm convinced, especially in any country that's built like a fortress with cameras everywhere. As soon as you walk in the airport, they know who you are. They know your background. You get flagged
That's
or
true.
not flagged.
That's true. I don't know what I'm concerned about. They still let me in.
Yeah, for now.
Yeah.
All right, the last
Hey,
article of the show. This is our quarterly update on botnets.
it wouldn't be an episode if there wasn't a denial of service attack.
Yes.
A massive scale. This time Azure, for once. It's not Cloudflare.
Yeah, or AWS East. There's a
That's
bunch that
true.
we could have talked about, but we went with
I know.
Azure. That not to be political at all.
But the thing is, normally we are on here saying the biggest ever, and now I'm looking at 15 terabytes, going whatever,
Yeah.
no biggie. Cloudflare's was 22. Don't care.
Yeah, I'm just more curious who this is. Is this another kid in like California or Oregon that we're going to find out about?
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. Does it identify the assailant other than the style of botnet? Which, yeah, that's normal.
Yeah, and this is the same one that Cloudflare actually got hit with.
Yeah, it's a
So
IoT botnet. Yeah,
yeah, it's like, okay, so it's the same botnet. If you are within the jurisdiction of Five Eyes, you might want to watch out because you just went after a few very, very powerful companies. They're definitely looking into this.
yeah, for sure.
What did the
Yeah,
22-year-old get? I think it was a 21-year-old. He could get like 10 years for his DDoS. I think that's what they were
yeah.
pursuing.
I mean, what? Yeah, that's. I think we even talked about this. Like, what are you doing? Like, what's the point? How do you expect not to get caught?
Yeah, there's the caught thing. It's also like, you're smart enough to do all this stuff. Like, ease up, write a paper, tell people about what you did, maybe go and get a PhD or something like that. Like
There's a lot of jobs in offensive security.
yeah.
This doesn't do anything. It just ticks people off for like 10 minutes. Like the other day, Cloudflare was down, and therefore a whole bunch of other websites went down. That was like last week or something, and that wasn't even a botnet attack. And everybody went, "Oh no, I can't get to X for 10
Yeah, what was
minutes."
that? Somebody pushed an update, a poor update or something like that?
Yeah, do you remember that? It was like last week, and I didn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't worthy of this show, but it was like, because yeah, but it happened, and I'm like, but who did that? I mean, something like this, I don't understand. I quite often don't understand why a denial of service against something this huge that is designed to be resilient against said denial of service attacks, and it makes the news, and now the entire world is hunting you down.
Yeah, I wonder. I
Right?
always wonder if there's a fog person behind that, right? Like somebody gets on the dark web, gets sent a few Bitcoins, and they're just like, hey, you have to run these things, and then we'll pay you 3 Bitcoins. And the person goes like, oh, yeah, okay. Right.
Claude
And
code,
then
you say?
they're, yeah, exactly. Where's my tinfoil hat?
There you go. Now they're hunting you because that was a good idea.
Yeah. All right. That's been 10 articles. It was good to be back. Hopefully, we're back in 2 weeks. I'm back in Toronto.
Yeah, I'll be back in a few. Well, I think I don't know what we're gonna do. Maybe a year-end wrap up. Do our best of. That would be fun. Unless
Yeah,
something
that will
crazy
be.
happens that we have to talk about it, we'll add it to the show. But it'd be fun. It'd be fun to know what your year in review is. How about that? There's your challenge.
Okay. All right.
All right. Like and subscribe, ring the bell. There'll be plenty more Mike and Steve in the new year. But we'll see you soon.